Hi everyone, my name is Wayne. I'm back with more PodFest Asia NFT Live Festival, and it's 12:31 p.m. right here in Singapore, in Asia. And my friend Steve Willis, he's on the other side of the world, should I say down under? And later on, I'll be doing a proper introduction for him and welcome him properly to our virtual podcast studio. But before that, here's just a slight service announcement. We do have a new Substack page that is already up. So if you want to be a supporter, do go check it out. You can become a supporter and get access to some cool bonus episodes or classic replays that we dust off every now and then. That's available and released only every month for our supporters only. So do check out the URL is down here at the scrolling banner, podfestasia.substack.com. So here's the proper introduction for my friend Steve Willis. He's the light wizard. He's joining us, in this festival and also for the live taping of this particular podcast episode. So he's a rare breed of human on a fantastical voyage to redefine the framework of possibility. He's a Mayan Kiwi born in Wellington and to a father from New Zealand and a mother from Guatemala. So he's a global citizen who has, lived between the nations of Mexico, Venezuela, Guatemala, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and the United States. He began uncovering his aesthetic potential in high school before going on to study photography at the Academy of Arts University in San Francisco, where he earned his Bachelor of Fine Arts in 2003. He continued his education in the Master of Fine Arts program until 2005 before moving to Australia to further cultivate his original and unusual style of art creation. He began his career as an independent artist in 2010, focusing firstly on his still life photography, later adding sculpture, installation, and performance to the imaginative repertoire that established him as a leader in the Australian visionary art scene. Steve repurposes and also upcycles different materials through his very unique process of creative reuse that transforms and elevates objects from ordinary to extraordinary. He's a determined dreamer that is known for astonishing people into states of playful fascination and puzzled interest while delivering potent messages of positivity, harmony, authenticity. He considers creativity to be a sacred practice, and his artwork in his chosen service to humanity, and he's on a mission to support our spiritual evolution. He has exhibited his work alongside heavyweights such as Android Jones, Amanda Sage, Chris Dyer, and Luke Brown, and consistently enchants worldwide audiences with his ingenuity and uncommon approach. The Light Wizard continues to marvel viewers, intrigue imaginations, capture curiosities, and offer an unexpected perspective with his fresh and distinct form of visual alchemy. Steve and the rest of our incredible speaker lineup will be sharing more NFT, art, predictions, and their thoughts for the rest of this 2021 live on this show this week. So without further ado, let me welcome my good friend, Steve Willis. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Wayne. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you.
Well, I'm incredibly well, although I would say that I'm ATL when it comes to fitness-wise because all the gyms are closed in Singapore. We are still in this mini lockdown. We call it phase 2. Yeah, so, health-wise, I'm ATL at the lowest.
Yeah, you said you got a little bit sick before. Are you feeling better?
Now I feel better, just still with a little bit of a cough. It's not COVID, thank God. But just taking lots of cough syrup and hopefully, things will work out better. But I sound fine, right? So far, so good.
Yeah, no, you sound fine. You look great, Wayne. Yeah, thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. And a big hello to all of your listeners as well. Greetings from Australia.
How's things over there and what's been going on in your city in Australia for the past 1 week? Give us an update.
Yeah, things are really good, man. Personally, my partner and I just bought our first property and we moved from one side of the country to the other side of the country. So for the last few months, we have been very busy just moving and packing and doing all the different things that you need to do when you buy a house and when you move to a new state. And we live on 5 acres of land, so we have lots of land. And it takes lots of maintaining and taking care of. So we're just getting ourselves set up at the moment. And I just entered the NFT space now, and I've been sitting on the sidelines for a while, sort of really wanting to come in. And I was just introducing myself to the space when you saw me. So I'm glad that you saw me and we get to connect now.
I think we're connected not just because you have a great story and not just because, you're new in this space. Just like me, I podcast because I don't know anything about NFTs. So the only way to learn from everybody who comes on the show, right? Basically, they educate me and our listeners as well and teach us all the great things about this space. And I saw your art and I was immediately, it picked my interest because it's so colorful, it's so psychedelic. And I love your art. I think it's totally unique. And that's something that I think we're connected straight away because I love uniqueness. So maybe let's start out with your story. We would really love to hear how you got started and how the journey has been so far for you.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. So I first started creating art when I was in high school. I didn't really like a lot of my other classes, but I enjoyed my art classes and my photography class. And I really enjoyed taking abstract photos, and I don't know why. It's just part of who I am. I don't feel like I want to show people a picture of something that they can already see in this world. So I like creating these fantastical realms, and then I show people something that's very unique and very unexpected and very, very imaginative. So in my 20s, I studied artwork in San Francisco, but during my 20s, I was more interested in partying and girls and friends and having a good time. So I wasn't really doing my artwork. But then when I turned 30, then I really started to make some bigger life decisions and started to follow my dream, waking up every morning and stepping into my dream and working on my true expression. And so I do still life photography. So my artwork is one photo of these sculptures that I create out of hard rubbish, out of found materials, out of 3D prints. Here, there's one little 3D print. I don't know if you can see this up here. I don't know if you can see that, but
oh yeah, we can see that. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in objects. I'm very interested in objects and reusing things, looking at the world in a different way. I love colors, and I love sparking my own imagination and exploring new realms of possibility, So it started off all with the still life stuff. And then I started building sculptures and building outfits and doing performance and doing basically anything that I can think of, So yeah.
How did this, the Light Wizard, this name came about? Because I'm immediately, it piqued my interest when I saw the Light Wizard. It seems like it has it's something that you will be lit up in huge neon lights, or maybe your name will someday, appear on a billboard at Times Square, for example, along with your art as well. With this, 3 huge words, the Light Wizard. You should give this name to yourself.
No, I didn't. Like any good name, somebody gives it to you, and I got it when the first time I heard it was when I was about 20 years old. And I was living in San Francisco in a small studio, and my neighbor was looking at my artwork, and he just said out of nowhere, he said, "You're a fucking light wizard." Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on your show, but
sure.
You're a light wizard, and that was the first time I heard it. But then people started saying it again when I was about 28, 29, 30 years old. So it's more of a name that got given to me by other people. And when I was choosing my domain name for my website, I was checking, different names and everything, and then it just came out, Light Wizard, and it just stuck. And I didn't think about it too much. Usually, I would think a lot for a big decision like a website or an artist name, but it just came out and it's just stuck, and it's very natural for me. So yeah, Light Wizard, it is.
The name sticks, yeah, and it definitely resonates with people. and it sounds so unique at the same time so familiar. So I think that's a really great name. Congratulations on getting into this NFT space. So this is an NFT theme festival. So maybe let's talk a little bit about NFTs. So in terms of your NFT collection, tell us about your NFT drop, your collection, and how you got involved in NFTs.
Great. Yeah, great. So I'm very new to the space. I just dropped my first NFT less than a couple of weeks ago on Foundation. Shout out to my friend AJ Art who invited me to Foundation. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I've been really busy with the property, so my focus has been elsewhere. But I'm going to be releasing one NFT almost every week for the next 10 or 11 weeks. It's all lined up and ready to go. And what I'm doing to introduce myself to the space is releasing time lapses of the hundreds of photos that I use to create my artwork. So with my artwork, it's one photo at the end, but I take like 500 or 1,000 photos in order to get there. It's all studio photography. So sometimes it takes me like 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes me 2 months, and I can just leave it there and come back to it later, So it's all studio photography. So I've got all of these images that people have never seen before, and I'm putting together these videos of less than a minute that all of the different images flicker through, and it's a time lapse, so people can see that from the beginning of the creation to the end of the creation. So I'm going to be getting into the space by introducing this, and then I'm going to be looking at taking another step into the digital realm. Because my artwork is photography, it's always had one foot in the digital aspect and one foot in the analog world. And I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to explore new ways of creating in the digital world, and also teaching myself some more skills as well, So one of the things that really draws me to the NFT space is how people appreciate something that's unique, that's something that's different, something that's collectible, something that's rare. And one of the things that these are words that people have always used to describe my artwork. So I feel like there's a bit of a match with me and the NFT space, and I look forward to understanding and exploring exactly how I fit in. Because it's taken me a little while to arrive, I'm sort of not in any rush, and I kind of like that I'm just going to be slow releasing over the course of the next couple of months now that I'm here. But yeah, I'm really excited about the space, and I look forward to getting all around it.
This is brilliant. I think it's great that you're very thoughtful about the entire process. In fact, you're documenting the process so people could actually learn your process and get inspired from it. And it's going to be minted as an NFT. So right now, we can actually buy your NFTs on Foundation. Is that right? And what sets you apart, do you think, from the other NFT projects in the metaverse? What sets you apart?
Well, I think one of the things is that it is my process, is the fact that it's not just a photo and it's not a digital creation. When I show my artwork to photographers, they don't believe that it's not digital. And when I show my artwork to digital creators, they always think that it's a digital creation or a render of some sort. So it sort of blurs the line between these worlds. So I think that would be my point of difference that I look forward to exposing more.
When we were screen sharing, your website earlier on and looking at your art, I thought all of them were this, created, using software on a computer or drawn on a pencil, on an iPad, for example. But these are all sculptures, right? This is incredible. Yeah. And I think it actually elevates your art and make it even more unique now. So it's great that you're here, to tell us, your story and of course the creation process as well. So congratulations, on these NFT collections and drops, and showcase your work to the world and get more people to discover your work. So, in terms of like as an artist, right? What is it like as an artist to actually have your work valued in this way with NFT technologies?
Yeah, well, it's definitely something new. It's something that's new, and it's exciting and it's different. I still don't. I'm still getting my feet wet into the whole space, so I don't really know the answer to that. fully, but all I know is that it's very new and it's very exciting, and it's good to see a new platform for artists to be able to express on, and I look forward to seeing how creative people, once they learn more of the subtleties and the nuances of the NFT, really get to innovate inside of that space,
Yeah. And, why, in your own words, do you think that a traditional artist should mint NFTs, even though they have no idea what it's all about or they're clueless about it, and they should just dive into it?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of room for exploration and growth. And one of the things that's come up is that now that we can actually put artwork onto the blockchain, there's this idea of our artwork actually properly living past the time that all of our paintings are going to turn into dust and everything's going to deteriorate, that we will still have digital creations available of our artwork way past our time, So for me personally, I think that it's something new, it's something exciting, and there's lots of potential for just growth and exploration in that. So I think that artists should give it a go.
I love that two keywords, growth and exploration, because that's what a artist DNA and mindset is all about, right? To continuously experiment and create new things from nothing. Or if you're inspired by something, and then you can create something that's entirely new. So this space definitely opens up a lot of possibilities. And it's not just a provenance or, the fact that all this will be on a public ledger, on a blockchain forever in perpetuity, and makes your work live on in perpetuity. So that's definitely a technology that excites people. And of course, we have two camps: detractors and supporters. People who think it's is just another fad, just like how in the world of cryptocurrency, for example, ICOs and IEOs and IDOs are a fad. But and NFTs are just the next iteration. But then to the creators or the artists like you, or even a podcaster like me, we think that is something new that actually re-energizes the industry or even the community and provides more opportunity to learn new stuff. I think this is something that is quite positive, and it's something that really excites not just to the creators, but to the fans and the followers as well. Yeah. What's your comment on creator grants? Because I know that you work with different communities around the world. So probably someone who is more, knowledgeable on, the areas of creating grants or receiving grants or providing grants for new artists coming onto the scene. Like I have spoken to like over, I think, close to 100 NFT artists so far. And not just over here during the festival, but also in Clubhouse. Many think that it's super important, for grants to be made available for new creators. And at the moment, like minting, maybe an art on Foundation or even on OpenSea, right? There is always like Ethereum fees that are actually chargeable, and that could range from like 35, I think, to 75 US dollars gas fees. So I don't have the latest figures, but this is like a huge roadblock, right, to bringing in new artists into the space. So do you think that grants should be made more available for artists who need help establishing themselves in the NFT community? And do you think this will be a great help for artists out there?
Well, I think making grants available and help available is always going to be able to help people and help artists. I personally don't know much about some of the NFT grants that are out there, but ever since I started introducing myself to the space, a lot of people have been sending me links to different places that I should submit my artwork to, because the grant conversation has definitely been there, and I look forward to exploring all that as soon as I can land a little bit more into it. But because making grants available to artists is always going to be something that that will help somebody. Yeah, definitely.
And that's definitely a positive sign when even marketplaces are creating grants to help, towards paying maybe for minting costs. I think that's always a great sign. And even marketplaces, they could actually attract some new folks who could make up or could make some really great stuff, right? And to actually, prevent anyone who is deterred from getting into the space just because of the high gas fees involved. So I think let's move on to the next question. I want to know, exactly what's the most successful thing that you have done so far to market your work?
The most successful thing to market my work, well, to market my NFTs, not so much, but because I've only been putting it on Facebook. But I have learned already that Twitter is the place to go. Twitter and Clubhouse, and also Discord is coming on my radar again. Personally, Twitter is something that I would only use to keep track of the crypto market in the last few years. But it's something that I haven't really exposed myself to a lot, but I've been getting on there now, and I'm starting to get to know the space a little bit more because I understand the importance of it and the NFT space. And also Clubhouse is something I'm very new to, but I've been hearing lots of whispers about Clubhouse, so I'm going to be more active in that. And then also, Discord is something that I've only exposed myself a little bit to, and belong to a few different servers, mainly due to the crypto space. But then again, that's another one that I look forward to uncovering and getting into more now because of the NFT space.
I think before this NFT hype, right? Some might want to call it hype started. I was so unfamiliar with even Discord servers. I was too lazy to reactivate my Twitter. But because of NFTs and its impact, I think there's so many spin-off impacts in terms of indirect impact, in terms of actually getting people, to be more great at storytelling or even marketing themselves, and to have a presence in all these great platforms that we have neglected until the pandemic came along and everyone's stuck at home. So more time for creativity and more time to learn new tools, right? So definitely Discord is an area where I'm still trying to figure things out myself. There's so many tabs and things like that. And things are scrolling so fast. Like, how do you keep up? And of course, it does remind me a little bit about IRC in the early days. That's where, I actually found my bandmates, when I started the band in the late 90s. So technology is definitely a huge part of our lives. And we know that, technology is moving also very rapidly. I want to ask you, before we move on to the next question about the metaverse, about your Twitter use. How much time do you spend on Twitter these days? And do you see a lot of collectors who only collect followers instead of collecting NFT art?
So I don't spend that much time on Twitter, to be honest, at least not yet. And even with social media use in general, I like to use it consistently, but not often. You know what I mean? Of course, it's on a daily level, but I really like to I value my life away from screens. So I understand its importance, but I'm also very careful with how much I allow myself, how much time I give to it. So at this point, because I'm still sort of fresh, not that much. I'm sure I'll be doing more tweets and all that sort of thing. But I'm also very careful with how much time I do allow myself to be on social media.
100%. I think it's important to actually switch off and actually remember that, the time is actually more well spent productively, creating your art and making even more awesome art to bring onto the world and to the universe. So my next question is about the metaverse. So I think we are in some form of the metaverse already, because even though we have never, talked to each other before, because of the metaverse and the technologies, we are able to actually use StreamYard to do this podcast remotely with you. At the same time, the metaverse could be anything, could be even a WhatsApp that we use to communicate with each other, to coordinate for this particular slot, for example, or even, using productivity tools like Google Docs. These are all, we're already in the metaverse. So, opinion, how do you define the metaverse? I'm always very intrigued by artists. They have different meanings or definition for the word metaverse. Give us your breakdown on the term and what it means. I've been thinking a lot about it myself. In my opinion, no one owns the term yet. We are all still working on the language to describe what it is. Is it like what my kids are always telling me? The metaverse is basically Roblox, but it's 3D, where they could actually adorn their skins, and then they could not just elevate their powers, in the games, or in the metaverse is where they can actually interact with their schoolmates, and just like how we used to do it on RRC, right? So, what's your definition?
So yeah, like the collective virtual space, like one thing that is just coming up as you're asking this question is, I go to a lot of festivals, right? So I do a lot of work at festivals. And one of the things that happened last year is there's this one big festival, you might have heard of it, in the United States called Burning Man. It happens out in the middle of the desert in Nevada. And because people couldn't get together, they created a whole virtual experience where people could sit from the comfort of their home and enter the space virtually, either on their phones, or you could go with VR headsets and do the whole thing. I mean, we live in this funny time where the digital world and the physical world, sort of the barriers between them are getting a little bit fuzzy, and it's fantastic that we can be sitting across the world like this and communicating like we're in the same room with one another. But yeah, this shared virtual space, and yeah, it's great with NFTs that we can continue to be inspired to share more with each other in this new and different way.
I absolutely love, how you brought up a Burning Man. You brought up VR headsets as well. I think that's definitely something that we are all going to move into, or already been experiencing, right, for many people, because of the affordability of hardware, like a VR headsets. It used to cost like, what, $5,000? Now it could be as affordable as, I think, $299, right? You could actually own one and have a really immersive experience. Like what you mentioned, when they couldn't have this physical form of the Burning Man, right? It really harks back to even the 80s before Burning Man, right? When, I have another guest who came on to one of my earlier podcasts. Well, he was the person who actually curated the first ever festival in the desert. And, he had bands like Sonic Youth, Einstein the Neubauten, and, all these great early bands, Meat Puppets, for example, actually on to the festival and play in the middle of the desert, in the Mojave Desert in LA, and that was because of circumstances where actually people actually were not. Sorry, suddenly my smart speakers are going off. I have no idea why. I just turned it off. I was what was my train of thought again? Yeah, I was talking about how because of circumstances, the music that were playing were for the others, people in the underground. And the police, this is crazy. My music just goes off all of a sudden. The police were actually clamping those bands down, and because of circumstances, it was kind of like driving them, to do music concerts or live festivals in places where the police can't get to.
Yeah.
So what happens? What happens is that
what's happening is that your radio's coming alive. Your
it's creepy as fuck, but I was saying, circumstances make people more creative, and because of the pandemic, where we aren't be able to be physically present at the festivals, right? And also, you mentioned your involvement in festivals. So, do you foresee, like in the near future, or do you already foresee it's already happening, where you're just putting on your VR headsets and all your art that you sculpted and created and shot using your cameras are then becoming a 3D model form or animation form where people are able to put on a headset, immediately get into this metaverse, this VR gallery, right? And hear you actually explain your art and being able to actually rotate it or look at it from different angles. And it becomes an immersive experience for everyone. And everybody actually prefers that more than reality because it's more, cost effective. It's less time consuming to travel or get onto the seats of airplane, and they'll be able to actually feel and experience and hear your art right there in the middle of the living room when all it takes is just to press on their VR headset. Do you see that happening already?
I mean, I run gallery spaces at festivals. So one of the things I do is I manage artists and I run art spaces. And when you were just saying that, it just reminded me of this a few times that we've done already, these immersive virtual reality art spaces inside of the gallery where people could put on VR headsets and they could actually jump into the artwork and they could go into these fantastic fantastical realms inside the artwork. I think that might be something that people are going to get much more immersed into. Personally, I don't think that that's right now. We're going to prefer sitting in our living rooms forever instead of getting out and being in the physical world. I believe in balance. I love the aspect of the digital realm, but of course, that we are seeing things. I don't foresee a time when we're completely immersed. But who knows? We might already be in a simulation. Who knows? Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's a great thought. I think that there are many theories around that. I do agree with you 100%. We still prefer reality, right? But mixed reality, is or a hybrid way of combining both experiences together to add to life rather than making us avoid reality. I think that's what we are looking to achieve here. It's always a dream of mine to do a podcast show in the desert, but logistically it's not going to be something that is viable. But I think with the metaverse and with the technology advancements, it's now possible for me to do a podcast festival in the desert, in the metaverse. And then
we go to Burning Man, okay? We go to Burning Man together, and you can do your podcast there. And then you can sit there all day, and you can have all these people sitting down, some of the most interesting people you'd ever find,
It's a date, and let's go there. So with or without our VR headsets, I think it's definitely possible. So that's something to look forward to. So, we still have 2 or 3 more questions for you. Just want to know, especially artists and creators, right, who are watching or replaying this podcast later on in their AirPods. What's your favorite tools or even digital art software that you use to create your art or even your NFTs? And from professional tools to amateur tools, can you share with others what helps bring your imagination to life?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, my favorite is not digital because I collect hard rubbish. So I like to find things on the streets. I like to go out when people are putting hard rubbish on the street and just find random things. And I can never expect what I'm going to find. And then when I find it, it totally just inspires me and motivates me so much to do go down some sort of creative path. So for me, my digital tools, they're not so many, and they're more quite basic. People think that I'm a very digitally advanced person, which I'm actually not. I know my way around Photoshop. I know my way around Illustrator. Like the Adobe Creative Suite, a little bit of After Effects here and there. But I'm actually not a very digitally proficient person, But I look forward to learning more. I can see myself in my later years adopting a lot more digital sort of platforms and programs and this sort of thing. So my favorite is actually hard rubbish.
This is fantastic. You're actually making them into new forms and creating things out of rubbish. I think it's great. It's definitely something that is very inspiring stuff to others who are listening in on your process as well. Now I'm inspired to be on the lookout for things that I can maybe recreate in the future if I want to make art and want to be inspired by someone like you, right? To actually adopt this for the creation process. We just hit the 36-minute mark. Can you believe it?
No way.
Yeah, so before we reluctantly have to let you go, I want to do a speed round rapid fire segment with you as a way to clear all the questions I have already prepped for you. So here are the rules, right? You must give really short and pithy response, 1 sentence or 2 maximum. So are you ready?
Ready.
Let's go. What are your proudest life moments?
Following my heart every day.
What do you want doing less of in the rest of 2021?
Less distractions, less isolation.
What do you want doing more of in the rest of 2021?
More art, more fun, more quality time with my partner, more nature, more gardening.
Fantastic. Your advice for NFT artists out there?
My advice is just do it. Just do it. Learn. Don't worry about stumbling. Get your feet wet. Learn some new things, and don't hold back. Just do it.
Any future ambitions or side projects in the pipeline?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to creating some more artwork that I've had in the pipeline for a while, and also creating some new products. I put my artwork onto clothing. I've actually got a bunch here behind me. I'm gonna take a moment to
let's zoom in on that. Yeah.
So I put all of my artwork onto clothing, and I sell it on my website, lightwizard.com.au, and on my Etsy store, Lightwizard Art. And I'm currently making some more products with some different people. So I look forward to getting stuck into those.
This is fantastic. How can people reach you?
Lightwizard.com.au. Just Google Lightwizard and you'll find me. But you can find me on Instagram, Lightwizard Art, Etsy, Lightwizard Art, Twitter, Steve Lightwizard. I don't even know what my Twitter handle is, but just Lightwizard. Lightwizard.com.au. There you go.
We just stick it to the screen and make sure that everybody goes there and do check out his work. Amazing. I really love your art. Keep pressing on, and of course, keep creating all this great art. I'll see you in Burning Man in the very near future. Yeah. So it'll be a great day when that finally happens. So, any last words or message to our audience before we say goodbye?
Sorry.
Any last words or message to our listeners who are replaying this podcast?
Be good to yourselves, and be good to each other, and be good to the earth that you walk upon.
Fantastic. On that note, I bid you goodbye, and I'll see you really, really soon. Cheers.
Thanks, Wayne. See you, buddy.
Yeah. That is Steve. What an awesome creator and artist. And that brings to an end for this lunchtime session on day 12 or 13. See, I lost track of time of this NFT Live Festival. We still have another dozen NFT artists and tech builders of NFT marketplaces and people who are actually advocates of this NFT world as well coming on to the show in the next couple of days during the rest of the week. So stay tuned for that. I think some names that I might want to name drop right now. Josh Cass, who actually is responsible for Yellow Heart, that we actually mint NFTs for rock band Kings of Leon, will be coming on to the show tomorrow, and a few others. So do stay tuned. And if you want to be updated on our streaming live schedules, just go join our Discord server. I think, let me point to the right one. Yes, bit.ly/PodFest Asia. That's where you can actually get the latest streaming times and even watch some of our replays. And of course, we have a new Substack newsletter that's already out. And this is probably a good time to do some public service announcements before I sign off for today's lunchtime session. Well, my name is Wayne. For those who are unfamiliar, I'm the founder of PodFest Asia. Just want to take this second to thank you for watching this live podcast taping or listening to this podcast replay. I want to give a special thank you to the supporters that have come actually support us, us on Patreon since 2020, and those who are now joining us on Substack as well. Our Patreon and Substack accounts make this podcast possible. It makes all these interviews and all of the thoughts that you hear right here, it makes it possible. So we are very grateful to everyone who supports the creator economy and the myriad of new shows that we recently launched in May and June as well, especially the upcoming Metaverse Festival. And if you would like to support, you can go to podfestasia.substack.com. That's podfestasia.substack.com. So let me just make sure that I stick this URL banner on the screen right here, so you could follow and hit that URL on your browser straight away. You can become a supporter. You can get access to some really cool bonus episodes that we release every month for supporters only. You could even get access to our free NFTs of the month club. So we send out really cool digital collectibles every single month. And it keeps my mouth talking, keeps my head giving and taking, and keeps all this going. So if you like the podcast, if you want to support the podcast, we really appreciate it. And that's the message before we end the show. So please stay tuned for the rest of the week, where we have more guests coming on. That's it for me. Right now, I'm just gonna sign off. My name is Wayne. Goodbye.